In the Ancients Book of Magic, page 10, we learn that a person who wants to contact the spirits must draw a circle. Once he enters into the circle with his books, wands, incense and all things he needs, he draws the outer circle about 3 inches away from the circle he has already drawn. The operator must remember not to leave this circle during the whole invocation until the closing words have been said. For as long as he remains in the circle, no matter how fierce the demons may be, they cannot break through the walls of the circle. He is protected by the Legion of 72 who form a protecting ring around the circle whence no one can force their way through. Like Joseph Smith's Jupiter talisman, Hiram Smith's pentacles or talismans have a circle within a circle. Another thing that really interests us about Joseph Smith's Book of Mormon transcript is that the writing between the 2 circles appears to be divided into 4 parts. It is a common practice by those making magic circles to divide the area between the 2 circles into 4 parts and write 4 names of God, names of angels or other messages in these sections. Above is a drawing of a magic circle compared with the drawing Joseph Smith took from the gold plates of the Book of Mormon. In the magic circle the 4 sections are divided by crosses. In Joseph Smith's drawing the circle appears to be divided by a repeat of the same character. If the area between the 2 circles in Joseph Smith's transcript is divided into 4 sections, as we think the evidence seems to show, then it may be possible that names for God or angels are recorded in cipher in this area. Many of these names can be found in the following books: the Magi's, Raphael's Ancient Manuscript of Talismanic Magic, the Greater Key of Solomon and the Grimoire of Armadale. While it could be possible that each character on Joseph Smith's transcript has an English equivalent, many of the magic alphabets are cipher for Hebrew or Arabic writing. Anyone who wishes to seriously test the transcript to see if it is in cipher should also be aware of the following: the first 4 columns of characters which are found to the left of the circular object appear to show an intentional grouping of symbols, B. Y. U. Studies, Spring 1980, page 335. It could very well be that these groupings are supposed to represent words. If the manuscript is in cipher, this could be very important to a person trying to break the code. A computer, of course, would be an important tool for anyone trying to decipher Joseph Smith's transcript. Below the reader will find a copy of the complete transcript with arrows marking the places where the words, if they are really words, may divide. Enoch's gold plate. Since Joseph Smith was involved in magic and money digging, he must have had a keen interest in legends relating to these matters. One legend that may have had a real influence on the Book of Mormon is that concerning Enoch. In the talk Reed Durham gave in 1974, he revealed that there is a famous legend which the Grand Orator elaborates in lecture form in the ceremonies of the 13th, 14th and 21st degrees of Masonry, which has some very ancient roots, bearing remarkable similarity to Mormonism. Enoch is the central figure in the legend. It is with Enoch that the remarkable resemblances with Joseph Smith and Mormon history become disconcertingly dear. To the left is a photograph of a magic circle, taken from the book, Witchcraft and Demonology, compared with the circular object Joseph Smith copied from the gold plates of the Book of Mormon, to the right. The arrows pointing to the magic circle show where it is divided into 4 parts. Notice that Joseph Smith's circle also seems to be divided in 4 places. A photograph of the recently discovered document, which is supposed to contain characters from the gold plates of the Book of Mormon. To the left we have added arrows to show where words may divide in the first line. These divisions seem to appear throughout the first 4 lines. The parallels of Joseph Smith and the history of Mormonism are so unmistakable, that to explain them only as coincidence would be ridiculous. Mormon Miscellaneous, October 1975, pages 15-16. Jack Adamson had pointed out parallels between the legend of Enoch many years ago. He referred to 2 books from which he derived most of his material. One of them was Thomas S. Webb's Freemason's Monitor. Wesley P. Walters has furnished us with photocopies from the 1802 edition from which we quote the following: Enoch, the son of Jared, was the sixth son in descent from Adam. God appeared to him in a vision. A mountain seemed to rise to the heavens, and Enoch was transferred to the top thereof, where he beheld a triangular plate of gold, upon which were some characters which he received a strict injunction never to pronounce. Presently he seemed to be lowered perpendicularly into the bowels of the earth, through 9 arches, in the 9th, or deepest of which, he saw the same brilliant plate which was shown to him in the mountain. Enoch, being inspired by the Most High, and in commemoration of this wonderful vision, built a temple underground. This happened in that part of the world which was afterwards known by the name of the Holy Land. Enoch, in imitation of what he had seen, caused a triangular plate of gold to be made. He then engraved upon it the same ineffable characters which God had shown to him, and placed it on a triangular pedestal of white marble, which he deposited in the 9th, or deepest arch. Enoch, perceiving that the knowledge of the arts was likely to be lost in the general destruction, and being desirous of preserving the principles of the sciences, he built 2 great pillars on the top of the highest mountain, the one of brass, the other of marble. And he engraved on the marble pillar hieroglyphics. He engraved on the pillar of brass the principles of the liberal arts, particularly of masonry. The pillar of brass withstood the water, by which means the ancient state of the liberal arts, and particularly masonry, has been handed down to us. Freemason's Monitor, New York, 1802, pages 245, 246, 247 and 249. The Freemason's Monitor goes on to relate that God promised Moses that some of his descendants would find the plate of gold. When Solomon decided to build the temple, he chose the very place where the plate was buried. In digging for the foundations an ancient edifice and a quantity of treasure were discovered. Solomon thought it might be the remains of an idolatrous temple, and therefore made choice of another place, where the temple was erected, that is, Mount Moriah. Later Solomon sent the 3 Grand Master architects back to the first location to hunt for more treasure. They found a large stone, perfectly square. With much difficulty they raised it, when the mouth of a deep and dismal cavern appeared. Ibid, page 252. After some problems, they went into the cavern, where they found the golden plate and observed certain characters engraved thereon, of the meaning of which they were then ignorant. Page 254. The next morning the 3 men took the plate to Solomon. Solomon and the king of Tyre then explained to them the sacred characters engraven upon the golden plate. Solomon had previously caused a cavern to be built under the temple on Mount Moriah, Ibid, page 251, and the golden plate was concealed in this secret vault, page 256. The parallels to the Book of Mormon should be obvious to all those who are acquainted with that book. To begin with, Enoch was supposed to have recorded the secrets of masonry on a plate of gold and a pillar of brass. According to Joseph Smith, the Book of Mormon was written upon gold plates, pearl of great price, Joseph Smith 234, and the Book of Mormon itself says that the ancient Nephites also had plates of brass, 1 Nephi 3-3. It is interesting that in both cases the important messages would be recorded on gold and brass. Even more interesting, however, is the fact that both Mormons and Masons say the sacred writings were concealed in a hill. In addition, both maintain that the treasure was transferred from one underground location to another. Thomas Webb says that the gold plate was hidden in an underground cavern by Enoch and later transferred to a cavern which was dug under the temple on Mount Moriah. In the Book of Mormon, Amuron originally hid the sacred records in the hill Shim, 4 Nephi 148, Mormon 1-3, but Mormon later went to the hill Shim, and did take up all the records which Amuron had hid up unto the Lord, Mormon 4:23. These records were later deposited in the hill Qumran, Mormon 6-6. Even the name of the hill, Qumran, reminds one of Moriah. In fact, if the first 2 letters are removed from Qumran, we have Moriah, which is very close to Moriah. In Masonic tradition, Solomon is the one who gives directions to transfer the gold plates to the cavern under the temple on Mount Moriah. In the Book of Mormon it is Mormon who brings the plates from the hill Shim to the hill Cumorah. Many years ago, before we even thought about the parallel between Solomon and Mormon, we suggested that the name Mormon can be made by adding the first three letters of Moriah, Moriah, found in Genesis 22:2, with the last three letters of Solomon, Solomon, found in 2 Samuel 5:14. Thus we would obtain Mormon, Mormonism, shadow or reality. Page 95. It is interesting to note that Joseph Smith's own brother, Hiram, became a member of the Mount Moriah Lodge before the Book of Mormon was written. Reed Durham says that Masonry in the church had its origin prior to the time Joseph Smith became a Mason. Hiram received the first degrees of Masonry in Mount Moriah Lodge No. 112 of Palmyra, New York, at about the same time that Joseph was being initiated into the presence of God and angels. Mormon Miscellaneous, October 1975, page 11. Joseph Smith may have learned of the gold plate of Enoch and Mount Moriah from his brother, although this information was also published in an anti-Masonic book printed in 1828, Freemasonry, by Henry Dana Ward. In the Masonic legend concerning Enoch, the cavern which held the gold plate was covered with a large stone. In Joseph Smith's story, he also claimed that the gold plates were buried under a stone of considerable size, pearl of great price, Joseph Smith 254. The Book of Mormon never mentions Enoch, but it does speak of Zenoch, 1 Nephi 1910. In August 1832, the Church published an extract from the prophecy of Enoch. In this revelation, later printed in the Pearl of Great Price, Moses, chapter 7, Joseph Smith claimed that Enoch saw that the world would be destroyed by the flood, verse 43. The Masonic legend also said that Enoch was told of the universal destruction now impending. Joseph Smith must have really identified with Enoch, for in some of his revelations he used the code name Enoch for himself. See Doctrine and Covenants, sections 78, 92, 96 and 104. In our new book, Mormonism, Magic and Masonry, we will include actual photographs from the Freemasons' Monitor, which was published in 1802, and photographs of the Hiram Smith magic material.